start with my left. Paula, any questions on this budget?
No.
Brian?
No.
Mr. Waters?
Equipment, contract services, that include the sliding doors, the electric sliding doors?
So contracted services, yeah, could be repairs for that as well, yep.
Because I know at the senior, when they get off the bus, come through that door, I mentioned it already once before,
We looked at it the day
it
after.
never got fixed.
We looked at it the day after it was broken.
No,
We did the
back
tour.
door.
Yeah, we did the tour with the facilities
I
committee,
gave it to
and we
him
looked at it.
in real time, and he said he said occasionally it may jump the track, but it's not a regular occurrence.
Okay,
I'll have the discussion with him again tomorrow.
take a listen
I
to
haven't
it.
seen it jump off the track, and I
No.
went in and out that door probably 4 or 5
Does it sound like it's okay to you, or,
I think occasionally, like now, this time of year, whether it's salt or sand, get on people's boots, can get stuck in there, and maybe sweeping it and cleaning it out.
Wear and tear.
Yeah.
thank you.
But I did, when we mentioned it to me recently, and I haven't noticed, he said he checked it out, he didn't notice any problem. This is, Gilhammer's actually not here now, I mentioned it, kind of his assistant.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hennahan?
Just a quick one on replacing all remaining lighting at the town hall. When do you think, what's the time frame on that?
So that did not,
That was cut.
that was caught
It
by.
was cut. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just mainly got a program we're working with,
I
Eversource.
had a company come in that's, a company that was approved through CCM and Eversource to provide some potential grant money. There's 3 upgrades, lighting, something to make the HVAC, the chillers more, say 20% on your bill and blah, blah, blah. And it's something that's, you don't need money up front. There's 0% financing through Eversource, and the return, you pay for itself in your electric bill. Your energy bill will stay flat for the next 6 years, but the $2,000-ish, $2,200 a month to save goes towards repaying for the upgrades, and then you realize the savings at that point. They sent us a proposal, which we didn't sign yet, but I plan on it, after presenting it to the town manager. Before it becomes binding, Eversource's engineers review to make sure that their recommendations and their data is accurate. And if at that point we're satisfied that there's potential to get the upgrades for free and save money, and we choose to sign it, it will become binding. But no, it's cash neutral, there's no expense because
Oh, okay.
it's incorporated through the energy bank in your electric bills every month.
So whatever may have been in there,
Well, they're proposing $230,000 or $40,000 worth of upgrades. About a third of it is grant, $78,000, $75,000, $80,000, and then the other 2/3 that you have to pay for, you don't have to pay for upfront. You save 20-some odd hundred a month on your electric bill, and hence it'll be paid off in 5.8 years.
So we're gonna get it done.
Less than the life expectancy of the upgrades.
So the 70,000, 1/3 of what they're proposing was the 70,000 in the, forgetting the third one. One was HVAC, one was, and the other one is, it's on my desk. Oh, I keep forgetting, but it's in there.
that's not gonna happen this year, this year.
The lighting,
Yeah.
If Eversource's engineers tell us that it's bona fide and that their proposal is accurate, it could happen this year if we sign it.
Reminds me,
But we don't need money for it, we won't
I
need,
mean,
we won't need to
we're gonna
appropriate
get-
money.
that's why I
right,
cut it.
so you don't have to, yeah, okay. Yeah, it sort of reminds me of the Eversource.
However, going
lights
the
in
other
town.
way that I know you wanna go, if you look at,
There's a typo,
there's a typo under general supplies,
Okay.
supposed to be 40.
so we have to add 36,000.
Oh,
Bring
wonderful.
your total to 7,
41,000.
5.
To 40.
775, is that what you said?
Oh, 40,000.
40,000 total for this.
Yeah, it's 40,
775,743.
but it got recorded as 4.
Okay.
And then it brings your total public works budget. I don't know if you wanna wait till the end.
I was gonna wait till the end, because we may make moves and movements.
Sure about what?
Yeah,
Are we sure about what?
and I plugged it into my spreadsheet.
So the total, if you add up wages and overtime and blah, blah, blah,
Hang on. Yeah, so you got 489, 25, 160, 10, 1,500, 40, 40, 35, and 65. And if you scroll down, that goes to 775, 743.
it's bizarre, cause I did the same thing on my calculator and it matched what was there, I don't know.
No, 775, 743.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make a note of it, and then at the end, we can,
Yeah,
I
we'll
did,
look-
I checked all the pages.
great.
Okay.
we corrected the division, you can, when we get back to the
I can give you
main
the
total.
total.
Yeah, okay, so perennial questions, that I've asked now in every department. I'm sorry, did I finish going to my right? I didn't finish going to my right. Oh, no, I'll finish going to my right. Jack,
All set.
Ms. Hulick.
I mean, not that I want to add something that was cut, but is there a concern that by eliminating a part-time person, we will incur more of the overtime costs over
We're
time?
not necessarily eliminating, we had one a few years back that got eliminated years ago, and he was requesting to restore that. His concern and his justification for it was, guys are out there repairing something out in the field, whether it's at the highway garage or one of the park buildings or anywhere, and they gotta come back and do setups and kind of unskilled stuff. So what they were asking for was, a 19.5, keep it up part-time, so say 4 hours a day, have someone in the building that can tend to the non-skilled, and then he can keep his staff, if they're off painting something, they have to break down and come back and do setups. Sometimes it's on their schedule, like they're my rec, and they know it, they'll do it in the morning before they go. Sometimes it's, the room across the hall is reserved at 9 to 10:30 for something, but they need a different setup before noon. So they're in the middle of the job in the field, and they have to, one or two of them have to come back, and he was trying to avoid that, so that he could be a little bit more proactive on some of the upkeep of facilities.
Let's put it this way. I cut it.
I know.
Plus, the Parks and Grounds, fifth employee, when I negotiated with the union, that person's allowed to come over and work.
That worked out well this winter, so last year you guys did approve, an extra full-time guy, and,
Negotiations allowed us
When
to
we
send
started
him
our-
over here.
when we started our leaf collection in November, I moved him from Parks to Highway, and then when Highway was going to leaf collection, middle-ish of December, I moved him over to building maintenance, and he's still here until the snow melts on the fields. But it actually filled the void this winter because we had a medical and workers' comp injury in building maintenance, so that worked out. But that doesn't give him the extra body in the other months.
You're utilizing.
He's very busy.
Mr. DeProto.
Nothing yet, maybe come back to me later.
Okay, so my perennial questions that I've asked for every budget, every division that I've sat through so far. Talk me through the contracted services and talk me through Mr. Gillenheimer's capital request. What did he request and what was approved out of these? I see a bunch of different attachments.
So, contracted services is fire equipment service, fire equipment repairs, testing and monitoring, alarms, upgrades, NJ Daily, sprinkler fire suppression, Hartford elevator, East Coast energy generator repairs, and I'm missing some, advanced air quality duct cleaning, JAC Technologies, fire tech monitoring, a new fire alarm, beer
Yep.
property management, restoration, you name it, they maintain the gas pump, so we got a contract with, for a fuel management system. They
HVAC?
put POs in place, HVAC, Tucker Mechanicals, and just general putting POs in place, little POs in place. Lighthouse Electric, if we have an electric repair that's bigger than their capabilities.
And you're reading off of a list?
So,
Is that part of the binder?
Just to add, about 8 years ago, the council asked me not to have all this information in the budget and to, present a budget, basically, the format that is presented now before the council. And a lot of that was eliminated. Were you here? No, it was-
With Mary Ann.
No, I think I was here.
Were you here?
She wasn't finance director,
Yeah.
she was assistant, so a lot of that was in this body asked that be removed and go to this format which we developed.
Yeah, listen, the format's fine, I just think that the list that Lou just read answers 90% of my questions, so even if it's just like, you know, how we have,
I can definitely go back to that, and again,
Well, no, we're not gonna go back to that.
now, moving forward, if
Yeah.
you like. So, in years past,
If we
have
provide
all
you,
that-
at the time that were before you, the information,
Yeah.
that's what they were looking for.
correct.
So, at the time you're before them, what you just did is sufficient.
What I'm looking for is the ability to be able to justify.
We can answer those questions, or
Yeah.
should be.
Correct. Okay, and then moving on to the capital item, I see he has a couple different requests. He requested 15,000, it's being recommended for 6,500. So which one of these made the cut?
He requested 2 items. He requested a new Fisher's V file for his mason dump, which did not get approved, and he also requested $6,500 for a tenant T2 floor scrubber for the police department. Currently, they don't have one there. It's a pretty big bulky item, and when he has to scrub the floors, give it a deep clean there, you have to drive up to the highway garage, load it up, move it back and forth, so he was requesting, a floor scrubber to have in the PD.
The plow is cut and the floor scrubber is in.
Got it, thank you. Okay, go ahead. Mr.
I
Burke.
was just gonna say, the price quote on here is much higher than what you, sorry, the price quote you have is higher than what you've requested, I think? Does it say 8,500?
No.
You might be looking at the V file.
No,
Brady Plus, I think, is the one that is the lowest.
That's correct.
Brady,
It's the middle of the three, or the second page. Brady Plus quotation.
sorry,
$6,488.28.
oh, okay. And that's the same, oh, okay, so it's the same thing, all right, never mind.
Great. Any other questions in building maintenance?
I do.
Mr. Waters?
Lou, streetlights.
Yep.
Who does that fall under?
Me.
Okay. Something,
If I may say though, not in this budget.
okay, well, I have to ask a question anyways, reference.
It will come up under, utilities,
Public Works, general.
34.
Four budgets from now.
Then I'll hold off.
Okay. Moving to the next item is Parks and Grounds.
So again, like the other ones, well, you'll see the wages went up because we incorporated the 5th full-time position after last year's budget was approved. And you will see a reduction in, part-time wages. To offset that plus. Everything else relatively consistent, and contracted services, I kept the same as last year. If you wanna know what goes in that, I'll tell you.
Thank you.
Fertilization, irrigation, plantings, fence repair, and trade labor. There's a lot of different things. $74,000 is that, field painter we leased last year, that's a significant part of that. That worked out very well for us, it took a lot of, pressure and burden off staff. I'll use the football field, for example, we would have a crew of 3 or 4 on there for 4, 5, 6 hours, and now we have one guy on there and watch the little bit do the work for a few hours, so which frees up the staff to go attend to other, programs or functions needed.
Plus, it looks professional.
Alrighty, any questions? I'll start this time to my right with Mr. Henningham. I'll throw off the order.
And no questions.
Okay, Ms. Hulick. Mr. DeProto.
So you said the wages went, okay, so I'm looking at town manager recommended, it says 356 and change, and then actual, or sorry. Yeah, so, was it last year you spent 286,560?
So.
You said
so
you
again, we
shifted
added a
somebody?
5th position
Okay,
that wasn't
okay.
in last year's budget. That got done last May after the public referendum. We came back to the council and asked to convert a couple of seasonal positions to a full-time one.
Yeah, okay.
So you'll see a big jump in your full-time, but again, look at, 119 for part-time wages last year, and we're down to 51,700.
Okay, and then what got cut? You have a department request for 19.
Which one is that?
You have a capital item for 19 was requested.
So there were 2. There was, he had asked for a utility trailer for 7,000, that got cut, and he asked for, stand-on aerator for 12,000. That was when you cut it, I went to it, yeah.
Okay, so,
Do we currently have an aerator?
Excuse me?
Do we currently have an aerator?
Yes.
We do. I mean, it's in working condition, we're looking to replace it, or?
Yes.
All right, and then I'll leave the contract service question for
no,
later.
take it.
All right, all right.
It's all yours now.
All right. Well, we kind of, anyway. Yeah, I mean, you see these jumps, I mean, let's see, this department, Parks and Grounds went up by 16%. I'm just wondering, if there's some,
Last year, I think the last 2 years, so go back a few years, this division, I don't wanna say they were underfunded, but there was so much we made so many improvements over the years, and we tried to put them in a better position to be able to keep up with the demand, the public. Letting fields are important to the public and the residents, so, again, you'll see contracted services, about 18,000 of that number is the robotic painter. And I mentioned earlier, I took some mowing, maybe they were overtaxed or spread too thin a couple years ago. So we tried to get them the resources they need to be self-sufficient. And the last couple years, I think that, you see the difference.
yeah, generally the parks look nice. I mean, I spent a lot of time on the tennis court, so.
But if I can ask, where do you see, outside of the, adding, another employee? I don't follow you.
There's not too many big jumps in there. It's gone up the last 2 years in a row. I think this year, based on everything we did the last 2 years,
No, I'm just trying to understand what Tony's asking, that's all.
I'm asking, where do you see outside of the wages,
Well, contracted services went from the actual of 24 to 25 as 47 to the recommended of 74.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the
It's a jump.
18,000 of it's the roll-up.
Okay.
Didn't we use that last year?
That again got approved,
Make it even less.
that again got approved after the budget was, I think, approved last year, so we paid for some of it out of, the field maintenance account, and I forgot how we got that last year, but.
Okay, I mean, none of these are gotcha questions, just trying to figure out, yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to understand
Yeah.
where you think that, there's a significant increase.
If you look back
Well-
2 years ago, this budget has grown, this budget's probably grown bigger than any of the other divisions within Public Works, and I think for valid reasons. And I think now, based on, the feedback and the results of the last couple summers, I think we're
This is the biggest
closer to
setback.
right in this division, and hopefully we don't see any more
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I love what Mike does down there. I guess, I mean, I just went through and just looked at, to answer Tony, more generally, like I went through the first page numbers and compared this coming year's budget number with the previous year's final spend. You know, Public Works went up by 12%, engineering went up by 4%, solid waste went up by 18%, highway, we can get to all that later. I just, I mean, things go up and down. I'm just trying to figure out where we can get things to go down.
I don't know about down, but yeah.
I'm a dreamer.
Okay, so now I'll move to my left, Mr. Waters.
All I can say is the Parks Department did one hell of a good job, and, whatever we can do for equipment for them that they need, it's well-deserved. That's all I can say. Other than that, that's it.
Mr. Bonneau.
I think my only concern really is the floater. I mean, I know that the council approved a full-time position for Parks Department that has now been changed to a floating guy. What is the anticipation of him going back to Parks, and for what duration?
No, he's only a floater during the winter. As soon as, they start doing the fields, he goes back to Parks and Grounds.
As soon as the
He
snow
was only
melts,
taken away during the, winter months.
Okay.
so Mike in Parks had him until the parks closed and we got into the leaf collection, which is generally the week of Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
So he had him right through the end of the football season, and then historically, more than just one guy from Parks would help with the leaf collection. This year, we just took the two seasonals and the new floater, if you wanna call it that. And I probably would have put him back with Parks after the leaf collection if we didn't have the two medical leads here in this building, but, my intent is fully, and I already made building maintenance aware.
And I did make the council aware of it, and I think Mr. Mayor, you gave
And
us,
when-
you gave us kudos on that.
When the snow melts, later this month or the beginning of April, when the guys get on the field and field in earnest, he will be moved back until late November.
Okay, yeah, that was just my biggest concern, because,
Four full-time guys
Yep.
this winter that he's had every
Okay.
town.
okay, yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I think with the addition of this guy, there has been, quite a noticeable, downtick in complaints. There's been a noticeable, improvement in the quality of the fields. I know that, there's been a lot more aeration and care for the fields, and that's the direction I want to go in.
And he's complimented our existing staff, well, he's very knowledgeable, so he was a great hire.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions from you, Paula? Okay, just a note, right, the other departments, we had attachments for everything they requested, whether or not it was approved or denied. Here, we don't have any attachments again, so it's not consistent, but that's fine. We can move on to utilities. Actually, while we're in park maintenance, has there been any more discussion about the Board of Ed staff member and what we're gonna do with them and where they're gonna be parked and whose budget they're gonna be in? And,
We just met with them again this week.
okay,
We actually had a meeting, and, we're presently in talks with our union because, we were informed during our meeting that the employee wanted to come over, and maintain all his benefits and rights, i.e. seniority, vacation accrual, sick accrual. So I had to go to our union, which he would go in, and, they have some concerns, as you possibly could imagine, and, I am going back to the BOE, with a proposal, to see if I can get the body, and then hopefully down the road, have it join our union, but, sure yet if this is gonna be possible.
And then with regards to, I know Board of Ed wanted to hire a second parks and, or grounds, or not parks, grounds person for themselves. Is that still in their budget, or did they remove that?
I heard it's a half,
It's a half position, I heard.
so.
Okay.
Because honestly, if it was a full-time and they were persisting, give us the money and we'll hire them, and then we don't have the problems that
Yeah,
we're
exactly, okay. And then two other questions. Lou, I know you've been emailing with the person for the rose garden and the person for the pollinator garden. Is there any money built into this, for either of those projects?
No, I met with, Michelle for the rose garden last Thursday, I think,
Okay,
last week.
yeah,
I showed her, when the snow melts, she's gonna wheel it off and get the exact dimensions of every quadrant, and, she said within a week or two of that, she'll have some type of proposal is what she would put in there.
okay.
Tony said he may have an idea for funding,
Yeah, I didn't put the money in the budget, cause I think I have a funding source, where we're getting funds. And we should be able to use it for, actually both those.
Okay, great.
She said within a couple of weeks of the snow melt, she'll have something to us, and we agreed that, it's something we try to get done probably the middle, third week of May, when there's no more threat of frost. So hopefully if the funding's there, we'll be able to get that looking good before the Memorial Day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the goal is to get the rose garden done and then look at your
Pollinators,
pollinator garden.
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, moving to utilities.
So utilities, again, I looked at the last 2, 3 years' budgets, and there's a website that Sharon's predecessor turned me on to a few years ago, and it says, kind of helps you guesstimate or estimate upcoming utility costs. So I just really took, based on our last couple of years' usage and a couple, 2% increase and came out of these numbers. No perfect science to it.
Okay, I'll start with my left, Paula.
No, nothing.
Mr. Brunel.
No, I think 2% seems reasonable.
Mr. Waters.
Street lighting. We own the lights, correct?
We do.
And you've got 150,000 from last year, now it's 165. Have we had to go out and change any of the lights at all on our, we do, excuse me, let me, we have to maintain them. A lot of probably the council don't know that we had to buy them to get a better deal. And we have to maintain them.
So we just, for those of you who don't know, or haven't been here, we purchased them from Eversource in 2016. And in the spring of 17, so just about 9 years ago, we retrofitted them all with LEDs. That did cut our street light expense down to about a third of what it used to be, 30%, 33% of what it used to be. The downside to that is the fixtures are guaranteed, they say they don't burn out, they either fail, some of them fail because they're faulty, but they never really burn out, they kind of dim over
They
time.
fade.
Do we know what that life expectancy is? No. I do know that they guaranteed them for 10 years. So if they fail at 8 years or they dim out, they give us a 20% credit. So with that said, Sharon puts aside a few dollars of that savings every year. You know, we're coming upon the time next year to get into a replacement cycle based on the 10-year guarantee. So that's what, you know, I was starting to work on. With that said, the company that I just mentioned, with building maintenance, lighting improvements, there's a program for just this with Eversource as well. So we're gonna sign the proposal for the upgrades here, the cost neutral ones. If the Eversource engineers validate it and they say it's legit, and we're gonna say they have one for streetlight programs. So we've been saving money for the last 10 years.
We do have 424,000 in that special account to purchase streetlights.
So if we decide to do 25, 10%, 25%, 50%, or all of them at once, between what we have in the kitty and what, we'll see what type of grants and 0% incentives are out there. If we see them start to dim, like if you go on the highways, you see some blue ones, they didn't buy them that way, they're going out over there. So, here's the good news, LEDs even over the last 10 years have evolved, you can probably buy a smaller lamp and save even more on your electric bill that will be just as bright as these were 10 years ago. So it's gonna be a 10-year cycle, every 10 years, you're gonna have to dip into some of that savings, hope that there's a program out there and replace them. But we do save we did save for the last 9 years about 70% on our electric bills.
Now, does the replacement just, I mean, for the most part, just entail a bulb replacement? Or is this it's a whole fixture?
And when we did it 9 years ago, they were, I'm guessing, but I'll be close, about $350 a fixture. We have 13 or 1400 fixtures out there. So you're looking at, $400,000 or $500,000.
So you're putting, you just say that you're putting money aside,
424,000 we have in a special account to purchase, lighting fixtures.
okay, so where does this lighting, street lighting come into effect, the 150,000, may I ask?
Some of it goes into the bill, some of it's the bill.
Is that the electric expense?
Street lighting, right?
No, electric expense, the rest of
The rest of it.
police department, town hall,
Complete the whole town,
excuse me?
the
Yeah,
town.
Rest of the town.
And the 150 is, that is actually the 165?
So the 150 is just for the maintenance and.
Well, no, we take the 70 and we put it in the streetlight fund and the balance is for the Eversource stuff.
Okay.
So
the
we're,
150, as Sharon just reminded me, we take 70,000 a year and put in that replacement account, maintenance account.
Yeah.
The rest pays the streetlight bill.
so,
So we're gonna need, I think about, 1.1 million or give or take when, we go to replace.
excuse me, are we replacing them ahead of time or as needed?
As needed.
So that's kind of a high figure.
I said if we were to replace them all at
Right.
once, but.
But we're
given-
not gonna be though.
No.
Well, how many lights are there, you said?
100 something.
1,400.
Yeah.
At $350 a piece?
9 years ago, they were 350,
Oh, all right.
so whatever they are now, I don't know. If they're $500, you're looking at $700,000.
So do we need that $150,000 if it's a probably but not a guarantee? Or just being, shall I say, the way I learned it many years back, plate money?
What money?
Plate money, plate.
Plate?
Yeah, have the money there in case?
Again, this was, I picked this up back in 2015, this is what was approved and put in place. With the intention, you know, we got the job done, it was started, and, as I said, they, council then, I don't know, you were on it. Tell
Yes.
me what's-
I'm just wondering,
Why did they put 70,000?
What do-
I think that's what was recommended.
what I don't understand is what are we spending that money on? Like it says actual expenditure 24-25 was $159,687.
This
For, was that for,
70,000 of that was put into the maintenance and
kitty.
future replacement account. So, she said there's a balance of 400 and some thousand.
okay,
So that's the accumulation of putting $70,000 in there all these years, minus expenses. So if a lamp post
Gets
needs to
hit
be
or,
replaced,
right.
a fixture fails, whatever isn't warranted, you know, we have a vendor that manages them for us, and, you know, car hits a pole and our fixture has to be replaced or repaired.
And then the rest of
Tony,
it
can you
goes
check
to
your mic?
electricity.
And the
Can you
rest
check the
is
mic?
Electricity, so if we spent 159,667 last year, it's safe to say if we put 70,000 in the maintenance account, the electric bill was 89,667.
Lou, just for a second, if you could just go to that mic to talk, because that mic isn't working. I just got a couple texts from people at home. Sorry.
It's the same mic. The same mic.
No, the mic that's at the, like, come to the dais, like, come over to that, next to Paula. And just press the little light up button to light on up. Thanks.
Think we got technological upgrades.
So let me just make sure I understand this with the street lighting. So this is, we've just been talking about replacing, upgrading, maintaining.
70,000 a year goes into the maintenance account, and that maintenance account covers any expenses we have during the year. We gotta
Yep.
replace a fixture, add, occasionally the police chief is the one, if a resident is concerned that a dead end is too dark, and the police chief will recommend adding a street light or two. If he does, or she does over in the past, then I'll call the contractor and say, give me an estimate to tie it in and put the two fixtures up. They give us a price, if we approve it, they hang them. That comes out of that 70,000 a year. She puts aside with the balance of $420,000. The rest is actual, the Eversource bill for lighting of the streetlights.
Got it.
That's what's in that 159.
And why does it go up 15,000 this year? The street lighting actual fund, it goes from 150 to 165, is that because historically the last 2 years it's been above 150?
Yeah, it's been above 150, and they said estimate a couple percent increase, so I wanted to make sure that, you know, I mean, if you see, we spent 155 and 160 respectively. I'm hoping 165 is enough, but
Are we doing anything to encourage electric conservation, like automatic lights in rooms, turning off lights when the rooms aren't being
We
used?
have automatic lights.
we have all that in here.
Okay.
We have all that in here, and these streetlights are activated by photocells, so, you know, they go on when it gets to a certain level of darkness, and they obviously go off in the morning when the sun comes up, so, they're not on any earlier, or they shouldn't be on any later than they need to be. If you see one on during the day, it probably needs a new photocell, and again, that's what that account is for, to replace that type of stuff.
Okay,
Well, my question still is,
thanks.
sorry. We got $165,000, so you're saying $165,000, $70,000 goes into the kitty for the
Yes.
future? What happens to the remainder? Where's that being used?
It's for the bill
It pays the electric bill every month, for the lighting of the streetlights, that account.
and the maintenance.
Everything streetlights comes out of that account. That covers our expenses to light them, that covers repair, and that covers future replacements as needed.
If needed.
Eventually, they will be needed,
But not all at
and
once.
rather than come in here and say, I need $1 million or 800,000,
That's if all the lights get blown out. The chances are that, not.
well, more than likely, they'll all fade at the same time, so you'll have less lumens in the town, and then we, you know, whether we do again, whether we decide to do 10% a year, 25% a year, or do them all at once if there's a program, whatever source, and take advantage of it. Hopefully, at that point, we won't have to come back for a big appropriation because of that account there.
So the remainder of that 165, after 70,000 taken out, goes towards the electricity bill.
Correct.
Okay. Going to any other questions on utilities? Okay. So now we're at the end of our public works budget, right? CNR. Okay, so we will go and do CNR. Can we just take a 1 minute break, or 2 minute break, just for facilities? No, I'm not. I'm just gonna go
Now
use,
there's 3 seconds.
no, I'm just gonna go use the restroom, so. We'll, okay, well, okay, we're gonna adjourn, not adjourn, we're gonna go on a break at 6:29. We'll be back in a minute or two.
Fill out a pass.
Got less than half an hour here to go.
Okay. This is where we start putting ads in the street, you know, monetize things, if you wanna put the right road.
You wanna look at my book too?
Yeah, absolutely, make sure you did your work.
To the
Let's fast track CNR, I don't want it to come back. I will if I have to. I will if I have to, but
Hey, Lou, can you please sneak somehow green lights on that bucket
I'm
truck?
putting it on the bucket truck before the end of June, how's that?
No, really, 'cause it,
I will,
Christmas lights I'm not using, I just took them down, I give them to you.
they do work good.
oh, yeah.
They do work good, but the ones on there now are bright. I mean, we haven't, thank God, we haven't had any issues. I know what you're saying, your worst case scenario.
Well, I see it on the main street when they're up there, and cars just,
I'll have them get a price on it, and then in April, May, if, with all the overages and snow and everything, but if we find,
it's cheaper to have the town employees go out there with a bucket truck, that's what we bought the truck for. We also wanted to, if it was a contractor, they're self-insured, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
I'll have them get a price tomorrow, and then at the end of the year, if we got money, we'll try to slip
When are we gonna get a snow blower for one of the trucks? We talked about it 4 years ago, remember that?
I'll tell you what, I'm glad, with the 2 storms we got in the last,
Should've, huh?
I'm glad we got the 3 payloaders, you know. I'm
But
glad we had, 'cause
nothing like the snow blower to load them.
I'd love to have one,
Yeah.
but the payloaders are fairly effective in it. You know, they're pushing all the heavy stuff, they're getting in the dead ends, they're moving snow out of the way during the middle of the
But a
storm.
lot of sight lines are interrupted, a lot.
Well, that's what we do
A lot of
for a
guys
few
didn't
days,
push back.
a few days after all these big storms, that's exactly what we were doing, going out there and taking calls, hitting sightline obstructions first, and then removing snow from cul-de-sacs, and guys did a good job this winter, they really did.
Well, they did a good job. Hardly any curbs got hit.
Oh, you're starting to see them now that the snow's melting. You'll
They weren't up close
close
to
your
the
eyes the
curb.
next
Not
2
that
weeks
many
as the
though.
snow melts. I see them all over, not only here, in every town, on the state highways. This time of year, things loosen up, and if we get snow, they're gonna get dislodged, unfortunately. Like, I don't care how careful you are, you're gonna occasionally kiss one, you know?
The guys that are rule, whoever does our
No
rule,
offense, but, we have a deadline.
25 minutes to go.
No, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 25 minutes. What
We
time
can
is it?
continue them if we don't
25
finish
minutes to go, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's go to CNR and then we'll go back to the overall.
Can we approve the public works division?
Yeah.
Shh.
No, Public Works Department, sir.
Department, got it. Okay, so, we were, we went over, some of the numbers. I have a couple of personal recommendations, although no one has to adopt them, and then, we can see what they are. So for solid waste removal, recycling division, while I appreciate the increases that are being anticipated, I think given the documentary evidence and kind of where we're at, I would recommend sticking with the current contracted service, adjusted budget and estimated expenditure for this year, which is 23,647. I know that's, $29,000 less, but I still think, we're at a point with this budget that we need to be making tough decisions, and I think every penny counts. So I think that they have not come to the full estimated expenditure in either of the past 2 years. So I think returning to this year's estimated expenditure of 232,647 would be my recommendation there. Do we need to vote on these individually as divisions?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my recommendation. I don't know if anyone wants to make a motion on that or
Very
feels.
good move.
Okay,
Very good
so Al, is that a motion to?
Motion to.
move- Okay, made by Al, seconded by Jamin to return that number to 232,647, which is the current year expenditure. So motion made by Al, seconded by Jamin. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention, motion carries unanimously. Sharon, what is our new total for that department?
881,629.
So can I have a motion to approve?
You
for-
don't need
Oh, no, we
to-
don't, okay,
You don't need to do the
Okay.
division.
by division, okay.
What's the figure, Sharon? I'm sorry.
881629.
8,
Okay.
8,
better.
1, 6, 2, 9.
Yeah, 881,629. I was just verifying the number, I'm sorry.
For the highway division, looking at their actual expenditures, this one was a little more difficult. I think their contract services, one year was 317, their contract services the other year was 256, so I don't know if anyone wants to cut that one, or do we want to leave Highway Division alone? Under Public Works Supply and Materials, they didn't hit their supply materials, but I'll note there's a salt crisis and a material crisis, a shortage, so those prices may be going up, although they didn't hit the 250. So those were the two places that I thought there was some room for discussion there, but do we want to make any changes there or leave those two as they are?
So if I could just say this, Mr. Mayor.
I know, it goes into the capital non-recurring for the following year.
Well, no, not necessarily. We do interdepartmental transfers and do more road paving if he has extra money in his budget.
Okay, so,
Then the extra goes into CNR.
okay, so I guess we can, I mean, does anyone,
Well, I would remind, with all due respect for the winter,
yeah, so we'll leave,
So-
I mean, we'll leave highway the way it is, given the winter we've had.
Thank you.
Okay. Vehicle maintenance, the only thing that we had talked about was there's no backup for that capital item that he wanted. I don't know if we cut it and then have him resubmit to Board of Finance and they can restore it, or if we just leave it in there and make a note to Board of Finance that we are waiting for backup for that, because we don't even have a quote on it.
I would recommend, sir, with all due respect, to leave it, and if he doesn't provide it, I'll make the recommendation to have it cut by the board.
I would suggest that we leave it in as well.
Okay.
At least it would expedite the process if we need to move in that direction.
Okay, and then for the next area of contracted services, this is Parks and Grounds. They're asking for 74. Last year, they spent 47. The year before that, they spent 59. I maybe think some type of reduction into contracted services based off of historic use would be reasonable. I threw out a number of 65, but if we think that's too low, we can make it a little higher, but they're not spending, they're spending 60, 70% of their contracted services, so it just seems like not a full utilization.
What was the number you suggested?
I suggested 65, that still gives them wiggle room for both of the last 2 years. 59 was the year before last, 47 was last year.
Have they picked up
I'll
any
just
other?
remind you that the robot wasn't in the last 2 years neither, and that's an $18,000 lease.
And that's
Oh, it's a
why-
lease,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it went up.
Yeah, that's why I
Okay.
approved it, Mr. Mayor.
okay. Okay, so we can leave that, and then the same thing with public work supplies. It went up, they asked for 50, the town manager recommended 45. I think that's actually, the last year's number was 39, so they're getting pretty close to that line, so I think we'll have to leave that as is. And then, utilities, I don't really see where you can cut based off of electric costs going up, so I don't think there's anywhere else to
Will
cut, I
the
don't know.
CMS, speaking, will the new CMS, PV cell kick in? I don't know if that'll affect these numbers.
CMS, what's that?
Oh, I don't think,
Solar roof.
we don't, yeah, we don't get, that's in the Board of Ed budget, it wouldn't be ours.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so are there any other suggestions that folks have for this budget? Otherwise, I think everything else is coming in online.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what's the new, and then we have to add that fix that 40 in that one department.
Right, I did, yep.
So what is the,
Damage.
total, yeah, what's the damage the total town council recommended for the total public works?
5,396,694.
Can you say that one more time, please?
5,396,694.
Okay.
That's with the added 36,000?
Yes.
Because they added, in one of the columns, they had 4,000 instead of 40,000, so,
No, they have 4.
yeah, they have
Yeah,
4,000 instead of
Correct.
40,000, so
Well, that's
we
what I
took
was-
away
that's what I was
30, we added 40.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I just don't see where else we can cut based off of the past usage numbers. Everything else seems pretty close to where they're at and what they're actually using and utilizing each year. And costs we can't avoid and escalations we can't avoid.
Good historical representation.
Correct. So, okay, Sharon, one more time what that final number was?
5,396,694.
I'll accept a motion to approve the Public Works Department overall budget to the number Sharon just quoted.
Motion.
moved.
Okay, I'll give it to Brian and then seconded by Jamin.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously, I think, yes? Paula, did you say yes? Yeah, okay, unanimously, okay. Now CNR. Somebody just said to me, because that mic wasn't working, if you cranked the volume really high, you could hear the echoes of you from our microphones, but it's working now. So, okay, so let's go through our capital plan for Public Works. Now, I see that there's a number of items here that are being requested and recommended. Have these been placed in a priority order in combination with the Board of Ed priority items? I see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 items that are being requested for town CNR. And we have 17 items that are being requested for Board of Ed CNR. I know we're not doing them today, but have the 17 items from the town CNR and the 19 items from the Board of, town CNR been prioritized against each other into a master list?
Yeah, you have my, if you look at the sheet. This sheet, right?
I have the Board of Ed one.
This one, and then they have the other one.
Yeah, so they know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You see the ones that I recommend and the ones that I don't.
Yep, but my question
Yeah,
is,
they're all ones.
they're all
Everything
ones.
that's coming to you is a one.
Yeah, so my question is, if we have a total of 40, we'll call it 40, 17 plus 19, 36 items, how do these rank with regards to these items, 1 through 36? Do we have that?
No, because they're all separate. They're all.
Okay, okay, we'll take them as they are. I think,
That's why we do each department, separately.
okay. So, let's start with the Public Works Administrator. 2 requests were made, one for a SUV, which was was not recommended, and then a pavement management update, which was recommended. So we'll start with that.
The pavement management. So, as you know, every 5 years, over the last 10, since I got here in 2014, we had 2 of these done, and the recommendation is you do it every 5 to 6 years. The last one that was done was in 2021, I believe. And this 33,000 would cover the cost to have we would have to first put out an RFQ and qualify some firms, but once a firm was selected, it would give us enough money to get an updated road study, and they'd give us a pavement condition index on every inch of all of our roads. And it would also get us a new software program to use. Last spring, the company we're using wanted to double plus our subscription costs. And because we knew that we were due for an update within 12 months, we decided to say no. And, again, we use that program quite religiously for our road, rehabilitation, so I would recommend, I hope that you consider this one favorably.
Any questions on the pavement management software update for the next 5 years? Is this a one-time expense of the 33,000, or is it annual subscription?
So the bulk of it is a one-time expense, and there's probably a $3,000 to $4,000 a year maintenance on the software once we get it. This would cover it in year 1.
And is that software proprietary? I mean, I know the software is proprietary, but is the report proprietary, or is that listed on the Public Works website for people to review?
We can certainly list it on the Public Works website.
Yeah.
This is the 5-year update.
This is the
It's a
5-year update.
5-year update and the cost of getting a new program up and running for 12 months.
Okay.
So basically every 5 years.
So my recommendation is, especially as we're migrating to a new website, I think people should be able to see what they're paying for, and I think also it helps that people can look to see that we have an objective basis to actually decide what road gets paved next. So if we can put that on the new website when it goes live, so people can look at the map and see, okay, this is this year, especially since we're paying to re-up it, or potentially, depending on what the body does, re-up it, that'd be good. Okay, any other questions on the pavement management? Okay, seeing none, are we gonna do engineering tonight, or are we gonna wait for John?
Engineering, if I could, you'll see, this is the only area where I added the number twos because of the minimal, expenses in those area. And, one of them, I do have a request before the state bonding, on the parking lot expansion. Not the tennis courts would be moved at a later date. And the other projects, the way to initiate grants, we have to be shovel-ready. And, this is what the attempt is by approving these projects.
So can you just explain the James Mann environmental study? Is that for the pond that's by the high school? Or what is the James Mann environmental, or middle school? What is the James Mann environmental analysis for?
That's the,
Says former highway department yard.
Yeah,
James
So what-
Martin, James Martin.
Sorry, James Martin. You're right.
James Martin is the former highway yard that we need the money before we can move forward and attempt to get any, grants. Again, we gotta be shovel-ready. Yeah, I know, I'm very well aware, it's gonna be a phase one environmental site assessment and, identify areas of concerns. And this would also allow us to then go for brownfield grants.
Okay.
Without having this done, we can't go
Go for
for
brownfield
brownfield grants.
That's important. And then Cedar Drive and Coles Road, that's been on our priority list for a number of years.
Do we get grant money for that?
We're looking at, lots of, right, LoSiP,
LoSiP for that?
that fund, yeah.
Okay.
We needed this money, and then we were gonna use the
Yeah.
balance in local.
We need this in the balance we're using out of LoSiP.
Okay.
It's much more than 270 now.
And Lou, just to verify, this Cedar Drive and Coles Road drainage improvement was on, towards the top of our priority list when we numbered 1 through 10 them a couple
Yeah.
years ago?
it was either one or two. I think the PD and down here was one,
Yeah.
this was number two.
Okay.
Because properties are being impacted.
Go ahead, Brian.
Are we getting grant money for this project then?
Or have we explored grant money for that project?
For Cedar Drive?
We've asked for it, we have not received any in the, past. We're gonna use, LoSiP money for that project,
Minus the 279 request.
minus, yeah.
Next on this list is the Phase 2 environmental analysis, 61 River Road. This is the old hardware store that's on River Road that is rotting away and looks awful.
No, this is the, well. there's
Yeah, the
con-
foundation,
con-
the concrete foundation that's on River Road.
Again, once again, in order to qualify for the brownfield grants, we have to, have this
Have this
done first,
environmental
and
done.
then we can, apply for the grants.
Is there any concern that, I think Phase 1 determined it was not contaminated, right? That was what Phase 1 determined?
So far, yes.
So far, great. And then the high school parking expansion and tennis court design, do you want to talk about? I know we,
That's the design, and we need that, especially if we get the grant from the state for the,
Engineering design for drainage and lighting improvement needs, now that the plan has been changed from the original. is
yeah,
what's
and
out there.
I, just for some context for the counselor, for the council, we went to planning and zoning, 3 months ago maybe now?
Yeah.
With an updated overview of, that project to see if they had any initial feedback or thoughts for us. And, we received positive feedback, and now we need to actually do the engineering portion of it to move it from blue sky to something that's more viable. And I will tell you, we get a number of complaints from residents in those adjacent streets about parking of students. The sports games, if those are sports games and a concert going on, or, 2 sports games going on at the same time, that high school parking lot, the superintendent estimates is 100 spots too small.
the main
for-
concern that I have is
Yeah.
27. So, is it 27? Yeah, 20, right? What's the next presidential, 28, 27?
28 is the next presidential.
Okay. Problem we had last, presidential, was not
Correct.
sufficient parking, and they had a soccer, game going on
Correct.
at the same time. And, I questioned
CICA.
So, again, the goal would be to definitely, hopefully have this all wrapped up, way before then, if we're successful in getting the state bonding.
Yeah. You know, I'll note too that we have the single largest polling location by amount of registered voters in the state because our town is so small geographically. So I think that is one polling location for 10,000 voters, and the average across the state is much smaller. It's like one for every 5,000 voters. So we have double the amount of voters going to a single location, and I think the registrars have given us the numbers that we have a very active voter base in the town too. So, okay, so those are those projects. You know, we are about 9 minutes out of our end time. So,
One more, if I may.
yeah, let's finish that one.
The pump house and, the old, water district yard, both falling into disrepair. I came before you, if you remember, I was gonna try and sell it, try to
Yep.
cut a lot out of it. It ends up that the state owns, on the east side of the building, the state owns 1.5 feet off the building.
Railroad.
Okay, so we couldn't sell it to,
Say,
we couldn't sell it to a private company even if we
can't
wanted to.
make a non-conforming lot out of that, and,
Can we just knock the building down?
No, we have to do the environmental,
we gotta do the environmental and knock the building down.
That's what that money
Is this money for both the demolition and the environmental, or just the environmental?
This is, the pre-demolition, and,
Asbestos survey?
I think he's taking, we're proposing the money because we're making an assumption there is no lead or, contaminants in asbestos.
Yeah, what I want to note there is that's adjacent to a waterway with, that feeds into, I think, the Connecticut River ultimately, right? Does that waterway go all the way down? So,
Dead man's swamp.
yeah. Okay, so I just want to make sure that if we're going to tear down a building that's that close to a waterway, that we are taking the right precautions before we tear something down and don't know what we're opening
We
up.
would do the pre-demolition, which would be the testing.
Okay. That building's an eyesore, so I think it's, if we can't have it
Well,
restored
That's the problem.
to a useful,
Complain about blight in other areas of
correct,
town.
and then we have blighted building ourselves. I agree. Again, so we're coming towards the 8 minutes mark. I doubt we'll finish the rest of Lou's items here. How do we want to proceed with the remaining capital items? Do we want to have Lou come back? Do we want to finish them Wednesday night during our regular council meeting and have it moved to the first item of the agenda?
I can stay for
No,
4:30
we
tomorrow.
we're here tomorrow night.
Oh, so we can, and Lou's coming back tomorrow?
I'll come back at 4:30 tomorrow if I need to.
Oh, so we can continue this till tomorrow then, because I don't think we should rush
They're so lucky.
I just don't think we should continue,
No.
I don't think we should rush through the CNR items.
In order, we start at 4:30 tomorrow night.
Correct,
Mr. Spino will be back at 4:30,
to go over these.
and we'll pick up with the capital items to let planning and zoning go ahead.
Okay,
Okay.
wonderful. Well, to the members of the public who are just joining us, welcome to the end of our budget hearing, day one. You're welcome to come back.
exciting.
Yes, very exciting. You're welcome to come back tomorrow to our next one, which is at 4:30 tomorrow, to hear about the rest of Public Works, the police department, and other town departments. So you're welcome to come back and join us for that. But otherwise, I will take a motion to adjourn at 6:54.
Second.
Motion made by Al, seconded by Mr. DeProto. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, were adjourned at 6:54.
did.
Holy cow.
We have a big meeting tonight, so everybody get in your seats, get ready. We're not gonna be here until midnight. So, the Town of Cromwell Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting of Tuesday, March 3rd, 7 PM calling to order. Roll call, Alice Kelly.
Mike Canada?
Andrew Holt. John Comtois, alternate.
Vincenzo Marfella, alternate.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, well, I'd like to seat an alternate, please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to seat our alternate,
Second.
And name an alternate.
John Comtois
Right.
and Vincenzo
Okay.
Marfella.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Town planner, do you have any additions?
Yes, so we have a few changes. We're going to hear the temporary event permit tonight for the TPC first. Secondly, we are going to add application 26-09, an application for a re-subdivision approval for public hearing at April 21st meeting. And additionally, we are going to hear application 2605 tonight, grouped together with the other public hearings for 100 Berlin Road.
And that subdivision is located where, town planner?
It is 2 Brookview Road.
Is that all that has to be added tonight?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to have a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Yep, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we have public comments, but the comments, if you're here for our public hearings, at our public hearing time is when you will make the public comments. If you're here just to say something, this is the time that you do it.
Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commission members. I just wanted to, James Demetriadis, 272 Skyview Drive. I just wanted to bring you up to date on some legislative developments that have been happening that we've been monitoring at the state capitol. And I'm sure the planning director will talk about some of these too. There was a public hearing on the snow day, I think it was, maybe, yeah, I think it was the snow day, but maybe it was the day before, on the additional changes to the housing regulations and rules. We had drafted a statement, myself, Mr. Kanata, and Ms. Kelly. We haven't finalized it yet, but we do plan to submit it jointly, and I'll copy the commission on it. The legislature is appearing to want to tinker with the housing bill compromise that was passed in the summer. Additionally, with new requirements, including no restrictions on subdivisions, another attempt to deviate from parking requirements, setbacks, and other things that had been put to bed by the compromise but appear to be back alive. So I'm going to finesse that letter and circulate it amongst you all if you guys have any comments for it. But otherwise, the intent is to have Alice, Mike, and myself sign it bipartisanly and send it in to our representative and our state senator. So that when those things, or if those things get out of committee, again, not everything gets out of committee, but if it does get out of committee, we can be on the record about what our position is on those bills. I think housing affordability is a huge crisis, but I don't think the way that we fix it is by legislating ourselves into a corner and letting every which exemption possible be able to interfere with the cohesive design and safety and health of our residents. I think apartments have their place. I think small houses have their places. I think they all have parts to play, but we need to be cognizant of the fact that we have an elected planning and zoning commission that can make decisions based off of each plot of land and what's appropriate for each plot of land, and also making sure that the health and safety of residents are a factor that we consider. So I'll circulate that final draft of that, and thank you for your partnership. I think I called you guys or emailed you guys at 1 o'clock saying I just got an email saying it's due at 3. We weren't able to get the testimony in, but hopefully we can get a letter in across the finish line. So thank you both for your partnership on that, and thank you to the commission for their anticipated partnership on that.
Mayor, are they going to have a public hearing on any of this, or is it just going to be the committee just does what it wants to do?
Well, it appears that the Connecticut legislature already had their public hearing on it. they announced it on a Sunday, and it was for that following Monday, and testimony was due that Monday at 2. So there wasn't enough of a runway for us to
No, I
have a
understand.
meeting
I was
and,
just-
and
right.
be able to deliberate on it more
Okay,
formally.
thank
So yeah, it's already happened, but
Yes.
if it comes out of committee, then it goes to the House and the Senate for a debate. And I'm hoping that's where we have, you know, a state representative and a state senator that we can hopefully have advocate on our behalf. And I think having it be bipartisan is really important, because this is not a partisan issue. This is
No.
about making sure that we're balancing the need for sustainable development and workforce housing with the fact that every community, all 169 towns, are different and have different things are going to be appropriate in different spots for them. So, you know, balancing the two things. And then ultimately, you're an elected body by the residents, making sure that you and the residents have a, you know, a democratic say. So I think those are the kind of key points that we hit on the letter. So I'll circulate that final draft amongst you all, and then hopefully we can get a thumbs up on it, and before it comes to a floor vote, we can ship it on over. So thank you guys.
On behalf of the commission, I want to say thank you very much for keeping your eyes on the
Absolutely.
prize.
Absolutely, happy to do it. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else who'd like to speak?
Good evening, James Rude, 25 High Ridge Road. I put a call in last week to the zoning enforcement officer about the privacy fence at 100 Berlin Road, and I appreciate that there was a public hearing on the application for that particular property. But the privacy fence surrounding that eyesore here in the town of Cromwell has been fallen down again for the second time. It's been down for at least the last 10 days. And the compliance officer was kind enough to place a call to the owners of that property. And when I drove by today, the privacy fence has still not been restored. Again, for those of us that live in Cromwell, we take pride in our town, and it's disappointing when a piece of property such as that looks as terrible as it does. And I certainly hope that the owners of that property will be kind enough to continue to make it so that it's at least presentable to the folks that drive by. And we hope that during any of the things that happen based on planning and zoning approval, that that piece of property during construction and building is better maintained than it has been over the course of the last 18 or 24 months. It truly is an eyesore here in Cromwell, an embarrassment, and I'm disappointed that it hasn't been taken better care of. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Not, moving on. Development Officer, report.
Good evening. It's a very brief report that's in your large packet, but if you have any questions about the report, in the spirit of brevity, I would be glad to address them.
Anybody on the commission wishes to address? Okay, if,
I'll just make one quick
Okay.
comment. I did talk to town manager about 101 South. He said it is an ongoing legal issue right now. It hasn't slipped between the cracks. It's definitely still alive, but I asked him to get me a case number and a docket number so I could track it on the judicial website, and he is gonna look into that for me and get that for me. So I'll keep everybody updated as to what's going on with that. As the snow melts, we'll be able to get a better sight on it, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you.
You bet.
thank you very much. Yes. Anybody else? If not, moving on. Town Manager, do you have a report?
I have no report tonight for the Director of Planning and Development.
Okay, and then you are on now for the new business, application 2605.
Correct. So we do have application 26-09, an application for re-subdivision at 2 Brookview Road, and that will be scheduled for public hearing at the April 21st meeting.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept and schedule application 2609. Public hearing for April 21st, and that's a re-subdivision at 2 Brookview Road.
And-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And tonight, we now go on to application 2605.
No, we're going to actually go to 2602 first for the temporary event permit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute, we have to read the public hearing. Town of Cromwell Planning and Zoning Commission's legal notice. The Town of Cromwell Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing during the regular meeting on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Town Council Chambers of the Cromwell Town Hall located at 41 West Street on the following items. 1. Application 26-02, application for a temporary event permit under Section 6.3.K of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations to allow for the PGA Travelers Championship Golf Tournament event at 100 Golf Club Road. The applicant is the Greater Hartford Community Foundation. The owner is Tournament Players Club of Connecticut, Inc. Number 2, application 26-03. Application for a special permit for the Special Flood Zone Overlay District under Section 3.5.A.23 of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations to allow for a mixed development at 100 Berlin Road and 15R Christian Hill Road.
I think we're gonna go with just, the event permit first, right?
Right, but I'm gonna read them all and then we can.
Okay.
Okay, so, Christian Hill Road, the applicant is Alpine Residential LLC. The owner is M360 Berlin Land Holdings LLC. 3, application 26-04, application for a special permit to modify an approved master plan under section 3.6.C, parenthesis 5 of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations at 100 Berlin Road and 15R Christian Hill Road. The applicant is Alpine Residential LLC. The owner is M360 Berlin Land Holding LLC. Application number 4, application 26-06. Application for a special permit for filling under section 5.6 of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations at 100 Berlin Road and 15R Christian Hill Road. The applicant is Alpine Residential LLC. The owner is M360 Berlin Land Holdings LLC. At this hearing, interested persons may appear and be heard and written testimony received. The applications are available for public inspection in the Office of Planning and Development. Alice Kelly, Chair, dated in Cromwell, Connecticut, this Thursday, February 9, 2026, and Thursday, February 26, 2026. Okay, so we can move on to the first one.
Okay,
You wanna open it?
and that is a public hearing, so I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for application 2602, temporary event permit, for the Tournament Players Club.
Second on that, please.
Second.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Excuse me, members of the commission. My name is David DeBasio. I'm an attorney at Hinckley Allen, and I am the attorney for the Greater Hartford Community Foundation that's operating the event known as the Travelers Championship. It's our great privilege to be before you again, as we have been for many years. In light of your heavy agenda and the weather as well, I'm going to take my lead from one of the town officers and keep my remarks brief before I turn it over to my colleague Kevin Harrington. We're here to get a permit to operate the Travelers Championship in June of 2026. And as this commission knows, one of the key benefits to this event taking place in Cromwell is 100% of the net proceeds go to benefit charities in the Greater Hartford area, both in town and throughout the entire state. Since Travelers has come on as our sponsor in 2007, more than $35 billion has been generated by the tournament for over 1,000 local charities. As recently as 2025, $4 million was distributed to 206 nonprofits here in the state of Connecticut. Operationally, and I should say in terms of the entertainment that you're going to see, we're going to have 70 of the top golf professionals in the world coming to compete here in Cromwell in June of 2026. We're going to be offering one of the largest purses outside of the majors. It's a signature event. It's come to be an event that all of the players and their families look forward to on the calendar, not just because of the great job that the TPC River Highlands, Mr. Grube and his crew do in putting on the event, but because of the hospitality and how much they love coming to this particular area. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over, as I said, to my colleague Kevin Harrington, and he's going to go over the operational plan. And thankfully, at this point, we don't have a lot of changes from what
the Senior Director of Operations for the Travelers Championship. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to present here this evening. And I also want to mention that we, sincerely appreciate the partnership, obviously dating back, I think that we've hosted the tournament, partnered together since the mid-'80s. And if I'm not mistaken, this is my 20th consecutive year speaking to you all for this, this permit, so I appreciate the opportunity. As Dave mentioned, we're applying for our temporary event permit to operate the 2026 Travelers Championship. I'm going to walk you guys through our, event dates, comment a little bit on the status of the event within the PGA Tour, go through our gate operations, comment on our special events, as well as our parking, and then go over our setup and removal schedule as well. Event dates, we are June 22nd to the 28th this summer, and that is 1 week later on the calendar than we were last year, but essentially we follow the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open historically falls on Father's Day. Father's Day falls about 6 days later than last year, so June 22nd to the 28th are our dates this year. As Dave mentioned, from an event status standpoint, we are a signature event on the PGA Tour, and very proud to continue our tradition of donating 100% of our net proceeds to charity. And as Dave mentioned, we'll be the only PGA Tour event in New England again this year, and the final signature event heading into the FedEx Cup playoffs. So, and for us, with NBC covering the event this year, we'll have a nice. Our coverage leads right into Sunday Night Baseball on NBC for the first time, so it'll be a nice little sports weekend for us to be, I think, a part of that. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Red Sox Yankees, so I think a lot of people will be tuning into NBC that Sunday. As it relates to our entry gates, we'll be open to the public again Wednesday through Sunday. We operate 4 general admission public-facing gates. We have our main entrance, which is adjacent to our gold lot. Our gold lot, I think, is affectionately referred to as the bean field for a lot of the those who come to the event regularly. And then we have our 9th hole gate, which is adjacent to the red lot and pink lot, which is the left side of Golf Club Road on the map. And then we also operate our 8th gate, which is adjacent to the green lot, just across the street on Field Road. And then we operate a gate as well. It's not connected specifically to tournament parking, but we do have a gate, we call it our 5-6 gate, which is at the south end of Field Road, and leveraged, I think, quite a bit by some of the residents down there. From a special event standpoint, we'll be continuing to operate a modified special event schedule and post-event activities as we have for the last few years. The prom events will be held Monday and Wednesday, consistent with prior years, and our Women's Day event will continue to happen on Thursday, June 25th. From a parking standpoint, we've been working with Cromwell PD, and coming out of last year, we did acknowledge there was some improvements we could make on the outbound flow of traffic. We've worked very well with Cromwell PD and Rocky Hill PD in the traffic heading northbound, and those lights have been staffed, and they've been situated in a way to help flush the traffic northbound, and we're going to work with Cromwell PD in doing that southbound, where they're going to have some officers at Main and Court to help with the push for southbound traffic. In addition to that, we've also relocated our rideshare operation, which was in our green lot, and our green lot had majority southbound traffic, so we're going to move that back to our red lot where we had it in 2024 with much success. We just felt like we would have more success in the green lot, but with the changes we're making with flushing everybody southbound, we just feel the rideshare operation will function much better back in the red lot adjacent to our 9th hole gate for this year. Consistent with prior years, we will have a partial road closure of Golf Club Road. That is, as you pull up Golf Club Road, you hit the stop sign, take a left. That section of Golf Club Road will be closed Wednesday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then Thursday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then similarly on Field Road, which same area, you head up Golf Club Road, take a right at that stop sign. That section of Field Road heading down to our 5-6 gate, we've referred to that as a partial road closure of Field Road, so no through traffic. The residents can still get to their area, and that again is Wednesday 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we say or end of play, and a play could be a few minutes before 7 p.m. or a few minutes after, and we've worked well with Cromwell PD to as play ends to open those roads back up. And again, Thursday through Sunday, that would be a 7A to 7P. And generally those times are based on our tee times. Wednesday's tee times are a little earlier, so therefore the road closure is a little earlier. Once we have the general public out there, we like to have the road closures really help with getting people across the street safely, and, access to and from the tournament. And then, pending approval from the Board of Ed, we are looking to host stage our off-site ADA handicap accessible parking at Woodside Intermediate School as we have in the past. And I think they typically wait until they have that final day of school locked in to issue the approval, so hopefully we'll get that shortly. From a construction standpoint, we will remain with a 10-week build on the setup side and 3 weeks on the tear down. That's consistent with prior years. And I would comment that when comparing it to events of similar size and scope, it's a significantly condensed timeline compared to a lot of my counterparts and colleagues around the country. I think part of that is partly due to the fact that we still have the snow on the ground, so we couldn't start much earlier than April 1st. But we also, I think, get off the golf course quite a bit faster than other PGA Tour events. I think that's important to point out, just that we acknowledge there is an inconvenience and an impact with the trucks and the construction and the setup, but we do work incredibly hard to make it happen in a very short time window and then get out of here as soon as we possibly can. From a sequencing of the build, what we've typically done is, 10 weeks out, we typically start out in our gold lot and work in some of the off the golf course areas, which lets the golf course get reestablished and all that, from a growing standpoint. And after those first 2 weeks of us working primarily in gold lot and then gray and red and green in those areas, we move out to the 17th tee, 16th green area, and then we start to work our way around the pond, and then we finish up on the 18th hole fan zone area, kind of middle of the golf course, and the last areas we take over the parking lots in the clubhouse itself, as the club is in operation until the Thursday prior to the event at 5 p.m. So a little coordination with them on that. I would say we've been on the teardown. We do the essentially the same sequencing, but in reverse. We'll start, clubhouse, center of the golf course, and work our way back out. But we do make a little bit of an exception in that there's a few properties abutting the golf course that we try and make sure we have a significant just starting of teardown on those, to where if we can get out of someone's backyard, before July 4th, this year it'll be challenging given that, the July 4th is a week closer than in prior years, but we have had a lot of success in the last couple of years, whether it's Glenwood Terrace, there's a couple on the, in other areas of the golf course where we've done, everything we can to, just get cleaned up and get out of there, so it's, it's as minimal impact as possible. We've been very thankful in the flexibility that's been granted over the past couple of years. As the schedule we've submitted, we've explained in the past, and I think it's worked well. Hopefully we've felt it has, and we hope you guys have felt the same, where we've used it to serve as a guidepost, but obviously as, whether it's shipping challenges, weather challenges, as we're experiencing here tonight, supply chain and logistics during the pandemic, a lot of those things impact our ability to do, if the schedule says bleachers on 8 on May 4th, we might have to do that a week earlier, it might be a week later based on a lot of those challenges. And I think, with us staying within the 10 and the 3, I think it's worked well on our end, and we hope the same for you guys with that flexibility. Consistent with 2025, we are going to start with we try and start with a very large crew, where that wasn't always the case, and that lets us just get a good jump start on the construction and try and mitigate those delays and challenges. And similarly, we do the same on the teardown, where we try and start with the largest crew we can get our hands on, just to get off property as soon as possible. In closing, we feel like we can produce another world-class event here in Cromwell with the same parameters that have previously been allowed. We did have a couple of editorial changes within the document of the planning and zoning conditions, but those were relating to dates. Obviously, it reflected the 2025 construction schedule or construction summary. This year, it should reflect the 2026 construction summary. And then there were a few others as it relates to timing of, so you had a condition 10, condition 17, And I believe condition 18 and 19 both reference the same hours that are there. The hours would remain the same, it's just making sure the dates align with us being about 6 days later on the calendar than when we were last year. And then condition 1 on page 3, the same. That concludes my presentation. Questions?
Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments for our applicant?
I have one. Can you do us a favor next year, and the sheet with the map on it?
Yes.
And the legend on the right-hand side, can you make the legend on a separate sheet with much bigger writing?
Sure.
It was real tough, real tough read.
Right. Also, I would like to say is that next year when you come, could you have something that will show when you're talking about the gates? So
Sure.
that you can do something up here rather than looking at pink, green, yellow, and just
Absolutely.
show where the gates are?
I can call those out, yeah.
Okay. Okay, does anybody have,
Anybody else?
anybody else? Yes,
Kevin, do you foresee any environmental issues in getting this up and running? Rainwater or anything else that might be potentially be some sort of hazard? It doesn't look like there would be, but I would just like to clear that and get it out in the open.
Sure, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. Welcome.
okay, is there anyone here from the public that wishes to speak?
My name is Jay Polk, 15 Harrison Drive, longtime resident of Cromwell. As everybody knows, this is a top-notch operation that they have here. And I live a couple blocks away on the southwestern side of the golf course. There's never been any traffic problems, either in my neighborhood or getting out to Main Street. Trying to read my notes, I can't even read my own writing here. I mean, it's a wonderful thing that an event like this comes to town and all the revenue is donated to charities. And for a week, we get national exposure for future economic development, which hopefully could help our tax base. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, Chris Cambray, 10 Sachem Drive. I'd just like to say that I hope you approve this tonight, and I'd like to correct Mr. Polk. We get international attention instead of just national attention. That's okay. Just so for next year that you recognize that it's national attention, and I just hope you approve that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Mr., do you have anything to say?
Yeah, so no staff concerns. As we know, they are very responsible, wonderful partners with the town, and their track record reflects that. So we enthusiastically recommend approval tonight with the conditions before you.
Okay. I'm going to read the conditions.
I have a question for Andrew. We have a letter in our packet from Mora.
Yes.
So, and we also have a letter from the fire district. Neither one of them have problems enumerated, but they do have conditions enumerated. So in their approval, in addition to your 3 points, I think it might be prudent to include Mora's letter of 219, the fire district's letter of 219, recognizing their 2026 construction summary, and recognizing their 2-page event summary that was submitted by the applicant.
I agree.
All,
Yeah, that'd be
all
a
as
good
part
idea.
of their approval, if that's fine with you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. In that case, hearing no other questions or comments, I'd like to make a motion to approve. And this is,
2602.
yeah, that's 2602. Okay. So, do you want me to read this, or? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
And away we go. All right.
transparent.
I'll make a motion to approve application 2602. I move to approve 2602 application for the tournament, for the temporary event permit under section 6.3.K of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations to allow for the PGA Travelers Championship Golf Tournament event at 100 Golf Club Road. The applicant is Greater Hartford Community Foundation. The owner is Tournament Players Club of Connecticut with the following stipulations. Signs indicating the location of drinking water will be posted at all food tents. Sufficient cups will be available at drinking water locations. Proper roping, fencing will be in place to prevent spectators from wandering onto any construction areas. Dust control, if necessary, will be maintained by a water truck with sprayer. Noise-producing equipment will be located or screened to minimize impact on adjacent residences. Mats or mulching will be placed in front of all beverage serving booths. The access road to the main parking area will be maintained in a condition satisfactory to the Public Works Director. The permittee will discourage parties from using Coles Road to shuttle spectators to and from the event. Buses operated by the permittee will not use Coles Road to shuttle spectators to and from the tournament. The dumpsters located off Glenwood Terrace will not be emptied outside of the hours of 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. The operation of the tournament will be in conformance with the 2026 tournament construction schedule submitted and approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. The applicants shall provide timely information to the community by website or email. Emergency vehicle only signs will be installed at the east end of Ridge Road. The green screening mesh material shall be removed within 3 weeks of the end of the event. Golf cart drivers must be 16 years of age. Monitor dust conditions in the vicinity of 51 Field Road and water when necessary. Install a fence on the north side of 24 Field Road to protect the lawn from cars exiting and entering the parking area. The following are additional conditions per meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission on February 6, 2024. The hours will be from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. from Monday, June 15th, 2026 to Friday, July 3rd, 2026. The additional conditions per meeting with the River Highlands Homeowners Association on March 18th, 2008, updated to March 19th, 2013. The time allowed for construction tear down as well as any deliveries and maintenance shall be limited to between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. The hours will be from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday, June 15th, 2026 to Friday, July 3rd, 2026. Trucks, vehicles, and construction equipment shall not be left to idle within 50 feet of a home for more than 5 minutes. Tournament vehicles shall not park on any River Highlands roads or at the mail center. Tournament shall provide temporary fencing along both sides of the entrance and exit roads, the inner edge of Highland Green, and the south and north and south edge of Highland Crossing in the same way that the TPC property is fenced in order to protect the grass and irrigation system and sprinkler heads. Provide an informational briefing to all homeowners as well as contact numbers to the Executive Board of RHHA. And lastly, Tournament Committee shall assign a contact person to the River Highlands Homeowners Association who will have the authority to correct any deviations from those agreed to requests. This person will have the authority to fix the problems. And I'd also like to recognize the memo of Maura, our town sanitarian, or our town health officer. I'd like to recognize the letter of the fire district. Both of those letters are dated 2/19. And I'd like to recognize the letter of our town Director of Planning and Development, Andrew Armstrong. That letter is dated February 26th, 2026.
Could I have a second on that, please? Any comments? If not, I'm calling for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
And Town Planner, you will give to the tournament all these copies of these letters, right?
Yes, I will.
Thank
I'll
you.
give them the final conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
At
We'll
least
see
you don't have to
next
worry
year, and
about 2
best of
feet
luck
of
with
snow.
the rest of your agenda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we have an uneventful event.
Yes.
Well, unlike last year.
Okay, moving forward. Town planner. 2603, and then I think also 2605. They're all going in at the same time, correct?
Yes, so
All in favor?
All right, good evening. For the record, my name's Megan Hope. I'm an attorney with Alter, Pearson, and Hope in Glastonbury. I'm here tonight representing Alpine Residential LLC,